I never thought I'd be in this situation, but here I am. I'm Rachel, 35F, and I've been married to Arnold, 38M, for 10 years. We have 2 children, Tanya, 8F, and Max, 5M. Our life seemed perfect until recently when everything fell apart. Arnold and I met during our sophomore year of college. We were both part of the campus environmental club, passionate about making a difference. I remember the day we met. It was during a beach cleanup event. Arnold was this tall, charismatic guy with a contagious laugh, and I was immediately drawn to him. We started as friends, spending late nights studying together and organizing campus events. Our friendship slowly blossomed into romance. Our first date was at a small, cozy vegetarian cafe near campus. Arnold had remembered that I was trying to cut down on meat, and he found this place especially for me. It was these thoughtful gestures that made me fall for him. We dated for 3 years before getting married. During those years, we had our fair share of ups and downs. We briefly broke up during our senior year when Arnold got an internship offer in another state. We tried long distance for a while, but it was tough. We got back together when he returned, stronger than ever, or so I thought. After graduation, Arnold landed a job at a tech startup while I pursued my dream of becoming a teacher. We bought a small starter home in the suburbs and started our life together. Those early years were challenging but exciting. We were both working long hours, trying to establish our careers while also nurturing our relationship. We had Tanya 2 years into our marriage. I still remember the day we found out I was pregnant. Arnold was over the moon. He immediately started planning the nursery and reading every parenting book he could get his hands on. When Tanya was born, Arnold was the most doting father. He would spend hours just watching her sleep, marveling at every little thing she did. 3 years later, we welcomed Max into our family. By this time, Arnold had climbed the corporate ladder and was in a senior position at his company. I had established myself at the local elementary school and was loving my job. We upgraded to a larger house in a nice neighborhood with good schools. Life seemed perfect. Arnold was always the fun parent. He would come home from work and immediately get down on the floor to play with the kids. Weekends were filled with trips to the park, family game nights, and impromptu dance parties in our living room. I loved watching him with our children, seeing the love and joy in his eyes. Everything changed about 6 months ago. Arnold started working late more often, claiming he had important projects to finish. At first, I didn't think much of it. His job could be demanding, and he'd had busy periods before. But then I started noticing other changes. He became distant and spent more time on his phone. He was less affectionate with me and even seemed irritated when the kids demanded his attention. One day, while doing laundry, I found a receipt for an expensive jewelry store in his pocket. Our anniversary wasn't for months, and my birthday had just passed. When I confronted Arnold about it, he brushed it off, saying it was a gift for his mother. I wanted to believe him, but something felt off. A few weeks later, Arnold came home with news that turned our world upside down. He told me his ex-girlfriend from college, Amanda, 36F, had reached out to him. Apparently, she had a 3-year-old daughter, Becca, who she claimed was Arnold's child from a one-night stand they had during our brief breakup in college. I was stunned. A million thoughts raced through my mind. How could this be possible? Why was Amanda only reaching out now? And why hadn't Arnold ever mentioned this one-night stand? Arnold swore he had no idea about the child and that Amanda had only recently found out he was the father. He claimed she had tracked him down on social media and reached out. What happened next was even more unbelievable. Arnold suggested that we should adopt Becca and raise her as our own. He argued that it was the right thing to do and that he didn't want to abandon his child. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could he expect me to raise the product of his infidelity? I refused outright, which led to a huge argument. Arnold accused me of being selfish and unforgiving. He even had the audacity to suggest that we tell our families and friends that we had adopted Becca out of the goodness of our hearts. It was like I didn't even recognize the man I had married. The situation got worse when I discovered that Arnold had been secretly meeting Amanda and Becca for months. All those late nights at work were lies. He had been spending time with them, building a relationship with Becca behind my back. I found text messages and photos on his phone that proved he had known about Becca for much longer than he claimed. I felt like my whole world was crumbling. The man I thought I knew, the father of my children, had been living a double life. Every memory I had of our life together was now tainted. Was anything real? Had he ever truly loved me, or was I just a convenient cover for his other family? I'm at my wit's end. I feel betrayed, hurt, and angry. Arnold's lies and manipulation have shattered the trust I had in him. I've asked him to move out while I figure out what to do next. He's been staying with his brother and keeps trying to convince me to forgive him and accept Becca into our family. Our kids are confused and upset. Tanya overheard one of our arguments and now knows that her dad has another child. She's been acting out at school and has become withdrawn at home. Max is too young to understand fully, but he senses the tension in the house. He's been having nightmares and keeps asking when Daddy is coming home. I'm trying my best to shield them from the drama, but it's not easy. I've been considering divorce, but I'm scared of breaking up our family. Arnold's parents are pressuring me to forgive him and think of the children. They've always doted on Arnold and seem to think this is just a small mistake that we can move past. My own parents are furious with Arnold and want me to leave him. They keep reminding me of how my dad's brother went through something similar and how it destroyed their family. I'm torn between my love for our family and the immense betrayal I feel. Every time I look at Arnold, I see a stranger. The man I married, the father I've watched love our children for years, seems like a distant memory. How can I ever trust him again? I don't know how to move forward from this. Should I try to forgive Arnold and accept Becca for the sake of our family? The thought of raising another woman's child, born from my husband's infidelity, makes me sick to my stomach. But I also feel guilty about potentially separating Becca from her father. She's innocent in all of this, after all. Then there's Amanda. I can't help but wonder about her role in all of this. Why did she wait so long to tell Arnold about Becca? And why reach out now, when we have an established family? Part of me wants to talk to her, to get her side of the story, but I'm afraid of what I might learn. I need advice on how to handle this mess. How do I protect my children while also taking care of my own emotional well-being? Is there any way to salvage this marriage, or am I better off starting fresh? The thought of being a single mother terrifies me, but staying with Arnold seems impossible right now. Any insights or similar experiences would be greatly appreciated. I feel so alone in this, even though I'm surrounded by family and friends offering advice. No one seems to understand the complexity of emotions I'm dealing with. How do I make a decision that will affect so many lives? I'm lost and scared, and I don't know where to turn. Update 1: It's been a month since my last post, and a lot has happened. I want to thank everyone for their support and advice. Your words have been a lifeline during this challenging time. After much soul-searching and several sleepless nights, I decided to file for divorce. The trust between Arnold and me was irreparably broken, and I couldn't see a way forward in our marriage. When I told Arnold my decision, his reaction shocked me. Initially, he begged me to reconsider, promising to do anything to save our marriage. He even suggested couples therapy and offered to cut all ties with Amanda and Becca. But when he realized I was firm in my decision, his attitude changed dramatically. Arnold became angry and vindictive. He threatened to fight for full custody of our children, claiming I was an unfit mother for not accepting Becca. He even suggested that my refusal to raise Becca showed I lacked maternal instincts. His words hurt deeply, but they also strengthened my resolve to leave him. It was clear that the man I thought I knew was gone, replaced by someone I barely recognized. I hired a good divorce lawyer, someone recommended by a colleague who had gone through a similar situation. As we started the legal process, I discovered something that made my blood run cold. Arnold had been siphoning money from our joint accounts for months. He had set up a separate account to support Amanda and Becca, using our family's funds. This revelation made me realize how deep his deception went and how long he had been planning this double life. The financial betrayal hit me hard. We had always been careful with money, saving for our children's education and our retirement. To think that Arnold had been secretly funding another family with our hard-earned money made me feel like a fool. How could I have been so blind? Things got even more complicated when Amanda showed up at our house one day. I was home alone, the kids were at school, and suddenly there she was on my doorstep. She looked nervous and apologetic, not at all what I had imagined. She claimed she had no idea Arnold was married when they reconnected. According to her, Arnold had told her he was divorced and that's why she felt comfortable letting him be a part of Becca's life. I invited her in, against my better judgment. We sat in the kitchen, the same kitchen where Arnold and I had shared countless meals and conversations, and she told me her side of the story. Amanda said she and Arnold had run into each other at a conference 3 years ago. Arnold had approached her, and they got to talking about old times. One thing led to another, and they ended up spending the night together. Amanda said she didn't know she was pregnant until a few months later. By then, Arnold had gone back home, and she decided to raise the baby on her own. It wasn't until Becca started asking about her father that Amanda decided to track Arnold down. She found him on social media and reached out, thinking he was single. I didn't know whether to believe her or not. Part of me wanted to blame her, to have someone other than Arnold to direct my anger towards. But looking at her, seeing the guilt and confusion in her eyes, I realized she might be as much a victim of Arnold's lies as I was. The kids are struggling with the changes. Tanya has become withdrawn and her grades are slipping. Her teacher called me in for a conference last week, concerned about Tanya's sudden change in behavior. She's gone from being an outgoing, enthusiastic student to barely participating in class. At home, she spends most of her time in her room, only coming out for meals. Max has started having nightmares and often asks when Daddy is coming home. The other night, I found him curled up in Arnold's closet, clutching one of his old t-shirts. It broke my heart to see him like that. I've arranged for them to see a child therapist to help them cope with the situation. We had our first session last week, and while it's too early to see results, I'm hopeful it will help them process their emotions. My friends and family have been incredibly supportive. My sister, Emily, 33F, has been staying with us to help with the kids and provide emotional support. She's taken time off work to be here, and I don't know how I would manage without her. She takes the kids to school in the morning, giving me time to meet with my lawyer or just have a moment to myself. Arnold's brother, Mark, 40M, reached out to apologize for his initial support of Arnold. He admitted that Arnold had lied to him as well, telling him that I was overreacting to an old fling. Mark said he only realized the full extent of Arnold's deception when he overheard him on the phone with Amanda, making plans for their future together. He's been a surprising source of support, even offering to testify on my behalf if needed. I've had to take a leave of absence from work to deal with all the legal and emotional aspects of this situation. My principal was understanding, but I worry about the long-term implications for my career. It's been tough financially, but my parents have offered to help until I get back on my feet. They've even suggested I move back home with the kids, but I'm hesitant to uproot Tanya and Max from their school and friends. Arnold is still trying to manipulate the situation. He's been telling mutual friends and colleagues that I'm breaking up our family because I'm jealous of his past. Some people have bought into his lies, which has been hurtful. I've lost a couple of friends who believe I'm being unreasonable. However, those who truly know me have seen through his deception and have rallied around me. As for Becca, I've made it clear that while I don't want to be her mother, I won't stand in the way of Arnold having a relationship with her. My lawyer is working on a custody agreement that will allow Arnold to spend time with all his children without forcing me to interact with Becca or Amanda. It's a delicate balance, trying to protect my children's relationship with their father while also setting clear boundaries. I'm taking it one day at a time, focusing on healing myself and supporting my children through this difficult transition. Some days are better than others. There are moments when I miss the life we had, the family we were. But then I remember the betrayal, the lies, and I know I've made the right decision. It's not easy, but I know I've made the right decision for my family's future. I'm trying to stay strong for my kids, to show them that it's okay to stand up for yourself, even when it's hard. I hope that in time, they'll understand why I had to do this. Update 2. It's been 3 months since my last update, and the situation has taken some unexpected turns. The divorce proceedings are moving forward, but not without complications. Arnold's true colors have really shown during this process. He's been fighting dirty, trying to paint me as an unstable and uncaring mother. His lawyer has submitted statements from concerned friends, who, coincidentally, are all Arnold's work buddies, suggesting that I'm emotionally unstable and unable to care for the children properly. He's using my refusal to accept Becca as evidence that I'm not putting the children's needs first. It's been a grueling battle, but my lawyer assures me that Arnold's tactics are transparent and unlikely to sway the judge. One particularly low blow came when Arnold tried to use my past against me. During college, I had struggled with anxiety and had briefly seen a therapist. Arnold brought this up in court, suggesting that I was mentally unfit to have primary custody of the children. I was furious that he would use a vulnerable period of my life against me, especially since he had been supportive at the time. In a surprising turn of events, Amanda has become an unlikely ally. After our initial confrontation, she did some digging and discovered the full extent of Arnold's lies. She found out that Arnold had been manipulating her as well, making promises of a future together while hiding the fact that he was still married. Amanda was furious and decided to come clean about everything. She provided me with text messages, emails, and even recordings of conversations with Arnold that proved he had known about Becca from the beginning. This evidence has been crucial in our divorce case, showing Arnold's deliberate deception and manipulation. It turns out Arnold had been planning to leave me for Amanda for over a year, but was trying to figure out a way to do it without losing his family man image. The kids are still struggling, but the therapy seems to be helping. Tanya has opened up about her feelings of betrayal and abandonment. She admitted that she feels like it's her fault that Arnold left, thinking that if she had been a better daughter, he wouldn't have needed another family. It broke my heart to hear her say that, and we're working with her therapist to help her understand that none of this is her fault. Max is slowly adjusting to the new normal, though he still has moments of confusion and sadness. He started acting out at preschool, something he's never done before. His teacher says he's been getting into fights with other kids and refusing to participate in activities. We're working on finding ways to help him express his emotions in a healthier way. I've returned to work, which has been both a blessing and a challenge. It's good to have some normalcy and financial independence, but balancing work with single parenthood and the ongoing legal battle is exhausting. There are days when I feel like I'm drowning, trying to keep up with everything. My colleagues have been understanding, and my boss has allowed me some flexibility with my schedule, which has been a huge help. Arnold's family has finally seen the truth about his behavior. His parents, who initially pressured me to forgive him, have apologized for their actions. They were shocked when they learned the full extent of Arnold's deception. His mother called me in tears, saying she had no idea her son was capable of such behavior. They've offered to help with the kids and have been respecting my boundaries. It's a small comfort, but it means a lot to have their support. As for Becca, I've had to do some soul-searching. While I still don't feel capable of being a mother to her, I've realized that she's an innocent child in all of this. I've agreed to occasional supervised visits where Becca can spend time with her half-siblings. It's not easy, but I'm trying to put the children's needs first. Seeing Tanya and Max interact with their half-sister is bittersweet. They seem to enjoy playing with her, but it's also a constant reminder of Arnold's betrayal. The divorce proceedings are slowly moving forward. We're currently negotiating the division of assets, and it's been revealing to see how much Arnold has been hiding financially. My lawyer discovered that Arnold had been funneling money into a secret account for years. It's not just the money he used for Amanda and Becca, but substantial amounts that he'd been hiding from me throughout our marriage. My lawyer is confident that we'll be able to secure a fair settlement, including primary custody of Tanya and Max. I'm taking things day by day, focusing on healing and creating a stable environment for my children. It's been a difficult journey, but I'm starting to see glimmers of hope for our future. I've joined a support group for divorced parents, which has been incredibly helpful. Hearing others' stories and sharing my own has made me feel less alone in this process. There are still tough days. Last week, Tanya had a father-daughter dance at her school. Seeing her face fall when she remembered her dad wouldn't be taking her was heartbreaking. My brother-in-law stepped in and took her instead, which was sweet, but it was a stark reminder of how our lives have changed. Despite everything, I'm trying to stay positive. I'm rediscovering parts of myself that I had neglected during my marriage. I've started painting again, something I loved in college but gave up when life got busy. It's become a form of therapy for me, a way to process my emotions and find some peace. I know we have a long road ahead of us, but I'm committed to building a new life for myself and my children. It may not be the life I had planned, but I'm determined to make it a happy and fulfilling one. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The divorce has been finalized, and I feel like I can breathe again. The court proceedings were tough, but justice prevailed. Thanks to the evidence provided by Amanda and the thorough work of my lawyer, Arnold's attempts to manipulate the situation backfired spectacularly. The judge saw through his lies and awarded me primary custody of Tanya and Max. Arnold got visitation rights, but they're supervised due to concerns about his dishonesty and manipulation. Financially, the settlement was fair. Arnold's hidden assets were uncovered, and I received my rightful share. It's enough to provide stability for the kids and me as we start our new life. I've moved us into a smaller house, but it feels more like a home than our old place ever did towards the end. The kids are doing better. Tanya's grades have improved, and she's started to open up more. She's joined the school drama club, which has been great for her confidence. Max's nightmares have become less frequent, and he's made new friends at his preschool. They still miss their dad, but they understand in their own ways why we're not together anymore. The supervised visits with Arnold have been going okay, though it's clear he's struggling to connect with them authentically. As for Becca, we've settled into a tentative arrangement. She visits when Tanya and Max are with Arnold, and occasionally joins us for supervised playdates. It's not always easy, but I'm doing my best to ensure all the children feel supported and loved. Watching Tanya and Max build a relationship with their half-sister has been surprisingly healing. Amanda and I have developed an unexpected friendship. We bonded over our shared experience of Arnold's betrayal, and she's been a great support. She's even helped me navigate some of the challenges of co-parenting with Arnold. It's strange to think that the woman I once saw as a threat has become an ally. I've started dating again, slowly and cautiously. It's been nice to remember that there are good, honest men out there. I'm not rushing into anything, focusing primarily on my healing and my children, but it feels good to know that my heart isn't completely closed off. Work has been a sanctuary. I've thrown myself into my teaching, and it's paid off. I was recently nominated for a Teaching Excellence Award, which has been a huge boost to my confidence. My students and their parents have been incredibly supportive throughout this whole ordeal. Looking back, I can hardly believe how much has changed in a year. While I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone, I've learned so much about my own strength and resilience. I'm proud of the example I'm setting for my children about standing up for oneself and not accepting betrayal or manipulation. There are still difficult days, but they're becoming fewer and farther between. I'm looking forward to the future with hope and optimism, knowing that my children and I can face whatever challenges come our way.